love, but the definition of the word is much more than a beloved romantic blockbuster or world-famous novel. With great detail and perfect diction, an author or screenwriter weaves a magnificent tale with drama, comedy, dilemmas, romance, a climax, and an anti-climax to a satisfying end that has the audience wanting a life-changing love in the real world.
What are you listening to?
Debussy.
Even though some romances display more complicated plot lines where the couple don't always end up together just the same, most people search for that so-called soulmate personified in the movies.
Give me your hand. Now close your eyes. Go on. Step up onto the rail. Do you trust me?
I trust you.
All right. Open your eyes.
I'm flying!
They crave romantic love and that happy ending that fails to show what comes next, along with the facts of what would be required to maintain that love story with a couple who, for the most part, have polar opposite personalities or come from totally different worlds. The naked, unromantic truth is the feelings of love they share for each other wouldn't be enough to sustain a relationship and marriage unless the S word were applied. What is the S word, you ask? Sorry guys and gals, but this one is gonna hurt. The S word is only the real, nitty-gritty, true definition of love. A word which is not romantic, but right down difficult to practice. We speak, of course, of sacrifice. Think about it. What do you think the differences between Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth would result in after their happy ending if one was not willing to constantly sacrifice for the other? Just because they overcame their own thoughts to be together at last, do you think Pride and Prejudice just magically vanished from their personality altogether? We're sorry to burst your bubble about love, but no two people simply stay together a lifetime without sacrificing a whole lot. Personality traits to ways of thinking and behaving, sacrifice is an everyday requirement for a long-lasting relationship. A task so noble but so difficult that the famous phrase, "they lived happily ever after," doesn't even begin to explicate the matter.
Yes, the happily ever after makes a great plot for movies, Disney movies, romantic comedies, etc., etc. But in real life, marriage is a lot messier and a lot harder. So today we want to talk about romantic love versus real marriages.
Yeah, and you have to understand that a lot of these romantic stories that we've been watching and listening to for all our lives, they only talk about maybe 1% of that couple's life, because you only see when they finally be together. You know, they finally get together and they get married, and then you don't see the story after that. And that's the story you live on. We live on, right? Because if we ended our story when we got married,
You would have been happily ever after, right?
no, it would have been like if you say that is love, right? When you get married, that is love. You never really live together to understand each other, to love each other, even though you have so many flaws.
For your
right?
love to be tested, right?
Yes.
Because the test of love are the hardships you go through together, are the changes you make for the relationship to work, the sacrifices you make for each other, the tolerance you learn to develop for this person that you love, because love must include tolerance, because not everything about the person you love is lovely, right? So one of the reasons why people are so disappointed in love, Christiane, is that they base real life on romance. Real life marriages on romantic comedies, romantic movies, which are great for the screen, are great for the blockbusters, but they are not so applicable to real life. In real life, things are more difficult and they require a lot more work. If you want to have a successful marriage, very much like in your career, you need to work at it. A successful marriage, a happy marriage, is not the result of luck, of sheer luck, of finding your soulmate. Happy marriages are the result of work, hard work on the part of both husband and wife.
And here's one of the reasons why it's hard work, because when you meet each other, you always show the best side of you. So you're always looking good, you're always smelling good, you always say the right things, you don't want to hurt the other person, you don't want to say, for instance, if the person has bad breath, you don't want to tell the person that, because you don't want to scare that person away. So because you like that person, so you tend not to look at the flaws, and and even though you can see some flaws, but very small flaws, because the person is also hiding. Is always showing you her best side. But when you get married, then you tend to think like this. Okay, now you married me, so here's who I am. Here's all the sides of me, right? You want to be free to be yourself, not to be always on your toes, not to hurt the other person. You want to be yourself, and sometimes you are not in the mood. Sometimes you are not in the mood of talking. You don't want to do things at home. Sometimes you just want to be quiet. And that's when you start having problems with the other person, because if you expect to only see that side you met when you were dating, you're gonna get disappointed and very frustrated. And that's why a lot of couples, they complain, oh, he changed after we got married.
No, he didn't change. He just didn't show that side when he was dating, right? So you need to learn, now that you're married, you need to learn how to work on the relationship. You need to work for this to work. And to work in the relationship means many times, often, it means working on yourself. To work for the marriage to work doesn't mean pounding on this person for him or her to change. You must change, you must be more like this, you must be more like me, right? No. Work on the marriage for the marriage to work means often working on yourself for you to become a more adaptable person, for you to become a better person, depending on whatever friction is happening between you. For example, we had to work for our marriage to work. At the 12th year of our marriage, Christiane said to me, I want a divorce. This is not working, I'm tired. After 12 years of complaining to me and just, I gave her the shoulders, basically. She was fed up and she said, I quit. I don't want to have this marriage anymore. So for our marriage to survive, we both needed to look at ourselves, and we needed to work on our flaws. I had my flaws, which I defended. I defended with all my strength the way I was. I used to say to Christiane, that's the way I am. I was already like this when you met me. Why are you trying to change me? I insisted on remaining the same. But here's breaking news for you, dear husband, dear wife. Marriage changes you. Marriage forces you to change. Unless you change, your marriage is not gonna last. But the good news is that if you are a good student, if you are a good listener, you will change for the better. You will become a better man, a better woman, if you allow the feedback this person is giving you to help you to realize where you need to be a better person.
Because
and then work at it.
Because only that is the way you get to be a better person. When you are single, you have nobody to tell you about your flaws. And you think you're doing great. Usually you think, you're great. You're the best person in this world. But when you get married, then you have someone else there all the time.
Challenge you.
To challenge you all the time with you.
To point your flaws.
And who loves you despite having those flaws and wants to see you grow and sees how you can be a better person. So when your wife, for instance, complains that you don't give her much attention, why is she complaining? If she didn't care for you, then she wouldn't want your attention. She loves you. That's why she wants your attention. She loves you so much that she wants to talk to you. She wants to hear your voice.
She wants to improve you. She loves you so much, she wants to improve you. And that love often is not communicated in the best way, right? It often comes across as criticizing, as arguing, as pointing out the flaws, etc. But in the end, it's because you care. It's because she cares, he cares about you. And you are challenged to work on yourself. So when you work on yourself and you become a better person, that's when the marriage improves. So I had to work on myself. For example, I had to work on my temper. I used to have a temper where I used to shut down and give Cristiane the silent treatment, because when I was angry, I didn't know how to express or deal with my anger. So I would just give her the silent treatment and go quiet and sullen for days. And of course, that wasn't good for me or for our marriage. But I had to work on myself to improve, to become better at managing my anger, dealing with my anger, because anger is something that we're going to have until the end of our lives. So if you don't learn how to deal with your anger is going to destroy you, destroy your marriage, destroy your relationships. So the same way she had to learn how to work on herself, how to sacrifice certain things and ways about herself for the marriage to work.
Yes, I had to work a lot in myself because I used to think that everything about me had to come from my husband. He was the one who made me feel special, let's say. That's how I felt. So if he didn't give me attention, if he didn't talk to me, then I would feel inferior and small and insecure and all those things. So I had to learn to take away this love above normal, right? This need that I had of him with me. I had to tone it down a little bit and learn to love myself and work on myself and not need necessarily his attention to feel special. So that was also a process. It didn't work from one day to the other. And that's what you learn in the love seminar. Because, a lot of things we talk about here, it makes a lot of sense for you. But when you put in practice, sometimes you don't know, you don't alone by yourself, sometimes it's hard to practice what we teach here. And this couple who came to the love seminar, and they were married for many years, and they were almost getting a divorce because they loved each other, but they just didn't work. And they will always break up all the time. They would just leave, they would separate, come back, separate, come back. And a lot of people are like that. They know that they love this person. They want to be with this person, but they can't stay together. The reason why is because you're not changing. You're trying to change the other person. We were like that for many years, for 12 years. And when we stopped trying to change each other and we started listening to what each other had to say about us, and we started focusing on us, then we changed.
So you're gonna meet now this couple, Adrian and Claudia. Pay attention to their story and how they struggled for many years trying to change each other treating each other badly, but only changed when they realized that they had to work on themselves for the marriage to work. Let's follow their story.
I'm a real estate agent. I did have other relationships that I had, however, they weren't successful relationships. I still had not met the person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with and start a family with until I met my wife. The way I met my wife is one evening I went out with some friends and she went out with her friend, and we just happened to meet at the place where we met, and we started talking, and we got to know each other a little bit more, and we spoke until late into the night, and it was a very, very nice conversation. I felt as if I had met her or known her for a long time. So it was very, very nice, and we exchanged phone numbers that evening. Our relationship as boyfriend and girlfriend really didn't last that long. Within a couple months of us dating each other, I knew she was the one. I knew she was the one that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, that I wanted to ask her to marry me, and I didn't waste any time.
I felt the same way. He was different, and little by little as we started going out and going to dinner and getting to know each other, I knew that he was the one. I felt the same way. And I think a couple months after, he proposed to me, and we got married at almost 7 months of being boyfriend and girlfriend. In the beginning, everything was fine, but after, everything changed. I noticed his temperament change. He was, he would get upset with everything.
I was starting to have some financial problems, and I would perhaps not be as patient with her as I should have been. And I would get home and I would be upset because of the things that had occurred at work or what have you. And it's as if I was taking it out on her when she had nothing to do with it.
Based on his way of treating me, the way he was talking to me, I guess you can say that I wasn't mature enough to know how big of a responsibility it was to be married. You know, I was just ready to leave. We were married a couple months. Everything changed, and then I left, and then he will go and look for me and say, I'm gonna change, everything is gonna be better. It was back and forth.
And I would go and look for her, and I would apologize to her, and I would tell her, you know, I'm gonna change.
We would go back and forth, and finally, I just say, this is now the life that I want. You know, I just wanted to get a divorce. I was always very aggressive, and before, if a guy will treat me bad or cheat on me, I would leave like in a second. I was never the type of girl that will go back and forth. So with him, I was having a tough time doing that because that wasn't me.
I felt that, well, it's been going back and forth, nothing's working out, and perhaps that's the only solution is to get a divorce. I didn't want that. I wanted the marriage to work out. However, it just wasn't happening. And I remember we were still together. We had the TV on in the bedroom. And I was watching the program, and they were talking about the love therapy. And what really impacted me, there was a couple that had gone through basically the same exact thing that we were going through. They were able to change their marriage. And I told her, look, you know, we should go here. They're going to have, this seminar tomorrow in the evening, and we should go. They said it's free.
I started coming more. I started to learn how to be a good wife, you can say. I mean, it's not easy, but you can do it if you put in practice what they teach you and start doing everything the way you should, be doing it. Your relationship would change.
The great thing about the love therapy seminar is that it taught me how to be a better man, a better husband, how to, treat my wife, how to react. It worked. It definitely worked for me and for my wife. It affects our family as well too. It'll affect our children. So we noticed that if our relationship is good and we're doing well, it affects the whole family and it affects the whole house.
Our more important thing for us is to show them that, we love each other, we respect each other, and that we have a great relationship. We think a lot about their future too. When they get married and what they see on us, we want to be a good example also for them.
We've been married now 27 years, and I feel that our love is much, much stronger today than it was back then. It's just been transformed, and I owe it to the teachings and the lessons at the Love Seminar, because once we put those in practice in our relationship, that's when our relationship blossomed.
My personality, my temperament, everything, I have so much patience and love for him, and everything changed, and I'm very, thankful for that.
So Adrian and Claudia found help at our seminars. If you identify with their story and you would like to take part in these seminars, attend these meetings which are free, you can pay attention right now how you can get a hold of these meetings and participate there in your town. Pay attention.
Do you know how your spouse sees you? Are you sure you know how to communicate with them? Are you saying the right words but sending all the wrong messages with your body language and tones of voice? Come to our Therapy of Love meeting for practical teaching on healthy communication in marriage. The Therapy of Love is a meeting for both married and single people who want to get smart about love and allow God to heal and rebuild their love lives. To learn with David and Evelyn Higginbotham in person, come to the Houston Universal Church at 7075 Southwest Freeway between Bel Air and Hillcroft every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Also, at every Universal Church location.
Now Amber has a question for us and we are going to try and help her, right? Let's listen.
Hi, my name is Amber. I have a friend who needs some advice. She's been in and out of a relationship for 6 years, and she always tells herself that she's done with him, but she always goes back because she believes she's in love. She would like to know if she should just give up or make things work. Please help. Thank you.
Well,
Amber, I think your friend needs to stop going back to this man, right? Because, obviously this is not working, separating. Because, separation means when people separate, they're supposed to go, okay, I'm going to remove myself from this relationship because this is not working. So unless you change this and there, I cannot come back to this relationship. That's why people separate. But what has been happening with your friend Amber is that the relationship doesn't change and she keeps going back to it. So of course the other person is not going to change because he knows that she's in love with him and it's just not going to stop coming back. So why separate? So you're always going to have that problem in the relationship.
yes, Amber, tell your friend to stop wasting her time in her life. Basically, that's what she's doing, okay? She thinks she's in love, but she's not in love. She's in a prison of feeling, a prison where she feels she needs the crumbs that this man gives her, right? Crumbs, this is not love. The crumbs of attention, the crumbs of good time here and there that she gets from this relationship is not love. This is a prison. She's waiting she's wasting time in her life. We usually say that for every day that you spend with a person that gives you no hope of a future together, you lose 2 days. So 6 years means 12 years of your life, because 6 years that you have spent literally in and out of this relationship, plus 6 more years that you could have been using to try and find someone actually worthy of your love. So you've already wasted, your friend has already wasted 12 years of her life investing, throwing good money after bad in the investment world, in the business world. They use this expression, which I like it very much, throwing good money after bad. When people try to save a bad investment by investing more money in it, and they keep losing, multiplying their losses. You know, there's a time when you have to cut your losses and realize I've made a mistake. And her friend Cristiane probably has a problem in herself. She's broken somewhere, and she's trying to deal with this brokenness that she has inside by filling gaps with these crumbs that she gets.
Yeah, she probably thinks she doesn't deserve anyone better. She's not gonna find someone better than him. You know, so many things wrong there. That's why she should stop going back to him, even though she loves him. We're not saying she's gonna stop loving him right now. She may love him, but she needs to love herself more now and stop going back to him and start healing, not getting to another relationship, but healing herself from these needs that make her do things that are so hurting to her.
Yes, this man is wasting your time, and you are wasting your time too, and his time too. All right? There's no sugarcoating it. You are wasting your time. This man has not married you. You come and go from this relationship. Something is clearly wrong, not only with the relationship, but something is clearly wrong with you for accepting, for allowing this to happen for so long. So what you need to do right now is get out of this relationship and look at yourself, fix what's broken here. This wound, this open wound that makes you look for soothing from this man who cannot heal your wound, but maybe he soothes your wound for a moment or two. You need to definitely and once and for all heal that wound. That will not make you look for men, broken men, to try and fill this gap and soothe this wound that is inside your heart. Okay? You need to get help, and for this reason we insist that you will get a lot of help from attending the love therapy seminars that we hold in several locations across the US. And if you want more information about it, you can call this number and find out more about it. All right, folks, that's all for today, the Love School.
Yeah, and we'll come back next week, this time, on this channel.
And if you have a question for us, just contact us via Instagram, via @TheLoveSchoolUSA, and we'll be happy to answer you. Till next week. Bye-bye.